Keir Starmer vs. John Bishop, comedian calls out Labour's lack of vision. In a political landscape rife with disillusionment, comedian John Bishop has thrown down the gauntlet, accusing Labour leader Keir Starmer of a profound betrayal of the party's historic values. This clash is not just a personal spat, it represents a seismic shift in the Labour Party's trajectory, with Bishop's remarks striking at the very heart of Labour's identity. As the nation grapples with the fallout of Brexit and a cost of living crisis, the urgency for a clear vision has never been more palpable. Starmer, once seen as a beacon of hope following the tumultuous years under Jeremy Corbyn, now faces accusations of lacking the ambition and clarity needed to galvanise a party that once stood for transformative change. Critics argue that his cautious approach is unprecedented in Labour's history, with many fearing it could spell disaster in the upcoming elections. The stakes are high, the British people will not forgive a retreat into mediocrity. Bishop's comments come on the heels of a Labour Party conference that many viewed as lackluster. The comedian pointedly remarked on the absence of a once-in-a-generation vision that could inspire the electorate. Instead, what we've seen is a party too often mired in internal squabbles and vague platitudes. This is not merely a critique, it is a clarion call to arms for a political movement that has lost its way. In an era where populism and extremism are on the rise, the Labour Party's failure to articulate a compelling narrative is not just disappointing, it is dangerous. Historically, Labour has thrived on the promise of change. From the post-war consensus that rebuilt Britain to the new Labour project that reshaped the political landscape in the late 1990s, the party has always been defined by its vision. But now, with Starmer at the helm, many analysts warn that Labour risks becoming an echo of the past rather than a harbinger of the future. The irony is palpable, a party that once championed the working class now appears to be drifting away from its roots. The momentous events of recent years, Brexit, a global pandemic, and economic upheaval, have created a perfect storm that demands bold leadership. Yet, Starmer's focus on sound governance and responsible politics seems more like a retreat than a rallying cry. Critics argue that this cautious stance could alienate voters who are yearning for inspiration and strong leadership. The country stands at a crossroads, and the question remains, will Labour rise to the occasion or continue down the path of complacency? Bishop is not alone in his critique. Political commentators and former party officials have echoed his sentiments, expressing concern over Labour's current direction. The party needs to reconnect with its base, says one former MP who asked to remain anonymous. If they don't, they risk losing credibility and relevance. This sentiment is underscored by polling data that indicates a troubling trend. Many potential Labour voters feel disenchanted and unsure about where the party stands on key issues, particularly economic justice and social equality. The ramifications of Starmer's leadership, or lack thereof, could be monumental. As Labour gears up for the next general election, the stakes are higher than ever. If the party fails to articulate a clear and compelling vision, it risks handing power back to the Conservatives, who are all too happy to exploit Labour's indecision. This could mark a new era of influence for the right, warns a political analyst, highlighting the potential consequences of Labour's internal strife. As Bishop's words resonate across social media platforms, they have sparked a much-needed conversation about Labour's future. The urgency for a leader who embodies the party's foundational principles of equality and social justice is greater than ever. The British people are looking for a champion, someone who can unite the party and inspire a nation that is increasingly disillusioned with politics as usual. In this climate of uncertainty, it is imperative for the Labour Party to reclaim its narrative. The failure to do so could cement a legacy of mediocrity that future generations will lament. As we stand on the precipice of change, Bishop's call to action serves as a reminder that the fight for a visionary Labour Party is not just about politics, it's about the future of our democracy. So, what can you do? Engage with these critical conversations, challenge the status quo, and make your voice heard. Like, subscribe, and join a community that demands more from our leaders. The time for action is now. Let's ensure this pivotal moment leads to the transformative change we so desperately need.